Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Michigan Pathways. This is your host, John, and it is April the 21st, 2025, and April's looking better and better, and I know the days are going to get a lot more warmer and a lot nicer to get out on the trails. But that doesn't stop anybody else. You know, we still get on the trails all year round, and we all have our favorite sections and such like that, but there are times when you start looking at different sections like I did in the last few trips, and you want to challenge yourself, but you don't know what really you're getting yourself into. But being in shape can help better your time out there. Also, what I mean by is working with your pack. If you take a few hours out of the day and just work with your backpack. Take all the gear that you're going to want to take, and then also the food. A lot of times I buy my food at least a week or at least 2 weeks in advance. When I know I'm getting close to my trip, I start planning for my food. Loading up the water. Now, everybody knows my rule is that I work with is 2 liters in a 16-ounce bottle. So I always had the 2 liters. I work off of those, and the 16-ounce was what I carry on my chest strap. So that way, that's what I work off. And then I switch, bottles back and forth until I need to stop and, get water and such like that. So that is my kind of my thing that I do. Every backpacker is different. We know that a lot of sections of the trails, it's hard to find water. When you're planning out your trip, you look at your streams and rivers and lakes, and sometimes, depending on the season, you may not have an option to get to that water source. So making sure you have plenty of water is always a good thing. But we're kind of sliding off topic here, but that's where I'm kind of getting into making sure you're fit. Making sure you're able to carry your gear at least 10 miles. That's always the suggestion is, 8 to 10 miles. So that's if you're new, but if you've gone further, great. But and still even the advanced backpackers and hikers, you've got to be in shape. So making sure that you're able to get out there and successfully complete your hike. As we said, we train with our packs and we test our gear. We make sure that we know how to set it up, how to prepare it. It may look goofy in your backyard, but it's going to look more goofier when you're out in the backcountry and you're not able to put up your tent successfully in different conditions. It may be nice and sunny in your backyard, but you go further north into Michigan, it may be windy and cloudy and rainy or whatever the case may be. So know that you've got to test yourself in those different elements. Also there's a lot of flatland here in Michigan, but there's also a lot of areas that are hilly and very steep, and a lot of backpackers know the further you get up north, the more it can be a challenge. There are challenges here in southeastern Michigan, or the southern part of Michigan anyways. We know the Manistee has got its fair shares of ups and downs. And that's why I always suggest it as a beginner's course to a lot of other stuff. So I know when I did my section from Grand Marais to Deer Park, there was a lot of challenging hills and switchbacks and such like that will definitely put you to a test. So finding your weight and your stride is going to be really key, and making sure you're carrying the lightest gear you can, but don't go overboard. I always suggest that you start from the beginning and getting whatever you can to get yourself out there. That being backpacks, sleeping gear, so on and so forth. The big things are always the tent, backpacking, and sleep gear. Everything else can come, you can go minimal, especially if you're going on a weekend. You don't need all the fancy stuff to get out there. So, but once you start liking it, then you can start advancing yourself and making better choices on gear and getting lighter. But you're still going to have to make sure that you're getting workouts and stretching your legs and making sure you're okay to get out there. But enough is enough for me rambling. So I hope you guys are doing well and you're able to get out on the trail. And now's a good time to start getting out there and enjoying it. And be safe, and I'll see you on the trail. Take care. Bye.